I'm going to try and cover mostly stuff that doesn't require much fabrication, if any at all. So if you're one of the guys at home who doesn't have a welding machine, you don't have access to fabrication tools, we're going to show you some stuff that you can do very simply. Now, at the front of the bike, a couple options you have. You can get rid of your telescoping forks and you can run a Springer, or you can put some fork extensions in here. We're probably going to remove this front fender because it's just not the look we're going for. You can leave the front fender. You could also trim the fender up if you want, make it kind of short, more of just a fork stabilizer. We're probably going to pull the front brake as well because stopping is for wusses. I'm probably not going to keep the stock headlight. If I do, might do something special to it. You can paint the housing, you can grind it down and patina it. The risers are also something to really consider when you go to a bar change. Now, after putting a couple hundred miles on here, the vibration of the bar is moving on it, that rubber will start to degrade. I'm not saying you guys have to get some solid riser bushings to replace the rubber in there and give you a solid grip so you can actually control your bike and you're not working with a marshmallow. Coming down here, you got your carburetor. You can put stacks on it. You can stick with your stock intake. I'm not a huge fan of the stock intake. It's not the worst, but it's obviously not remotely cool. Moving back towards the tail of this motorcycle, you can see that I have actually unplugged a bunch of crap already. This is all my turn signals. Don't need any of that. Not going to use it for this bike. Now, to address the electrical stuff underneath here, you can keep the plastic side covers, which a lot of people choose to do. You can paint them, you can drill holes in them, you can do all kinds of weird stuff with them. One of those is the Monostrut E-Tank. Now, the Monostrut E-Tank allows you to remove the shock. There's a monoshock right in here, and that's the suspension for this bike. You can take the monoshock out, put a strut in, and what you've essentially done is turn the bike into a hardtail without any fabrication whatsoever. And the monostrut is designed to straddle the strut. And each side of the tank allows you to store electronic components in each side. The other E-Tank option is just a regular E-Tank. So if you're gonna run that, you're definitely gonna wanna run a 50% hardtail. This is the subframe. What 99% of people do with this thing is they cut it off right about here. So now that we've cut this subframe off, we have a couple options. You can do no fender, you could do a short fender, you could do a long fender, you can do a sissy bar, struts, all kinds of stuff. So let me know in the comments what you guys think we should do with this bike when it comes to any part of it. Last but not least, I'm going to cover controls. Controls are this stuff here, the switches, the grips, the levers, the foot pegs. You can do a lot of stuff. You can remove the brake, the master cylinder, remove the calipers from the disc or the rotor. You can remove this. We have a great video on how to relocate your start and kill switch. You can even get rid of the kill switch if you want by just wiring in a plain old engine on button. All right, guys, let's recap what we can do with this motorcycle. First thing, we're gonna look at our front end. Fender, front fender. Keep, mod, or trash. Headlight, same option, keep, mod, or trash. Next up would be our speedometer. I'm not even gonna mention that because I hate speedometers. We're gonna leave that off the board here and not make this all gross and disgusting. But bars and risers is next. So bars, risers. Moving along back of the bike, we have exhaust options. Do we wanna go short, long? What option as far as do you want as far as the finish is concerned? Do you want chrome, black, rock? What are you gonna do? Stainless? Really depends on what you choose, the direction your bike goes. From exhaust, I'm gonna step right up into the performance because that is also something that you will probably wanna do at the same time. Carbs, intake. If you're gonna put new pipes on the bike, you're gonna have to pull the carbs anyway. So if you want to do velocity stacks or different style intake, it's ideal to do at the same time. Otherwise, you will very likely need to pull the carbs again when you change the other half of that whole 4-stroke beautiful system, which is the suck, squeeze, bang, blow. Okay, so then we have seat, rigid or spring. So after the seat, we're gonna look at our electronic situation. Do we wanna run a mono strut? Are we gonna stay with the stock covers? We'll call this electronics sub seat. We're gonna go with the E-Tank, side covers. Moving back from there, we have option of a hardtail, 50% hardtail, full hardtail, or mono strut. After that, we have fender sissy bar options, or a floating fender. Now we're gonna get up here and talk about the gas tank, which I totally forgot. I got too excited, guys. All right, so your gas tank. Gas tank, are we gonna go with more of a Frisco style? Frisco, are we gonna cut the backbone out? Do we cut backbone to accommodate for other tanks? Which would allow us to use, different shit like Mustang and Alien tanks. You can do Axe tanks. You can even do split tanks. Just to recap, guys, the holy trifecta of chopper change is handlebars, exhaust, and your fuel tank. A lot of these things, as you go through the stock bike, you can ask yourself, am I gonna keep it, mod it, or trash it? It's a great 3 questions to ask yourself, kind of help you guide through the design. This right here is what we're looking at to design our chopper or bobber. You want to build a bike, this is pretty much it. Now, last but not least, the final step in your project is going to be how you're going to finish the surfaces. Are you going to do patina, paint? You're going to rattle can it? You can get Scotch-Brite pads and rough things up. Oh, excuse me, pizza's here.